What's up? What's up? Not gonna be on here long because basically I'm still on a hiatus as far as Lawyer Henderson TV is concerned. Still working on our my book, which is a legal book, and then also working on our film, David and Michaela. But I had to come in to talk about on my hiatus and the suspension from YouTube, whatever, to discuss this Kevin Samuels situation. As you know, here in Atlanta, it was reported on May the 5th, yesterday, that Kevin Samuels had passed. He was a grow YouTuber who basically was giving women advice, talking about how they do not qualify in most instances with a high value male. And I think that drew controversy where a lot of women got upset because he was giving his honest opinion about what he thought about them and their chances of getting a high value man. But let's go ahead and read the article here. It says Kevin Samuels has died. His mother confirmed to NBC News as new details about the image consultant's final moments emerge. Beverly Samuels Birch said it was heartbreaking to learn about her son's passing online. That was a terrible thing for social media to put that out, she said during a phone call on Friday. I didn't even know. I hadn't even been notified. I'm doing is requesting that people pray for us, end quote. Atlanta police was called to an apartment on Thursday, responding to a person injured. A woman inside the unit said Samuels, a well-known YouTuber famous for giving controversial dating and relationship advice, in, has advice had spoken to her about chest pains. She had only met him the night before and tried to help him, but he failed over her. The police report revealed. Samuels was rushed to Piedmont Hospital. Police told the outlet. The Fulton County medical examiner said it could not confirm or deny the reports. The internet personality built up a fan base with more than 1.2 million Instagram followers and 1.4 million subscribers to his YouTube channel. He often talked about how value men as women and it takes to date a one. Okay, um, let's stop right there in the article. I wanted to talk a little bit about Kevin Samuels and his relationship with not the relationship, but where he met this woman. The medical reports and the police reports are very vague about this woman, Ortencia Alcantara. Now we know that she is a Pan-Adelaide Hawaiian, so she's pretty much Asian. She was very thick. She was a nurse. She had now her Instagram page that went private. I guess a lot of publicity that she was the last one to see him alive, based upon the fact of her accounts as to Mr. Kevin Samuels passing. Now there was some reports coming out saying, "Oh, this was an accidental death." And I'm like, "Huh? Okay, so how is this an accidental death? Explain." Uh, Kevin, went down and tried to get some Viagra and didn't work, and it's a very thick female. You know what I'm saying? I know Boyce Walker's weighed in, a lot of other people. Dr. Umar Johnson, of course, believed that he was set up. That's Dr. Johnson. Um, but I think one of the things we have to understand is that just because a female is pretty and attractive and have a big booty, don't always mean that you can trust her. I remember in that same area over there in Atlanta, where they had a woman who set up a man that she met, right? So she set up a man that she basically met. Um, and, so you have to be very careful about that. But his death was shocking. It came at a time where where people were like, he was giving advice. Like I said, he had his critics. He had people who basically didn't like him, especially women. They would petition him. Oh, he don't like women. You know what I'm saying? Of course, in this country, you never are able to hold women responsible and accountable for anything, right? Um, so this is, I think, a situation where we're just waiting for the autopsy report to come back and to see if there was any kind of, I suggest that the parent, the mom, in any case, get an independent autopsy from the, that is not from the state, because the state medical examiner can tell you one thing, and then you get an independent autopsy and you find out, hell, this woman probably poisoned him or something. We don't know. Now, a lot of people were suspicious because this woman is a nurse. So, as a nurse, if you got access to medicine, right, at a hospital, I think she worked at Grady or something like that. So you have access to a hospital, and with having access to a hospital, you have access to medicine. So you have access to all kinds of sedatives, right? So basically, I'll put it out there. I'm like, wait a minute now, you know, we have to look at the autopsy to see if there was any sedative in his system. Okay. But let's go back to, we don't know a date rape drug or whatever, but let's go back to what she said. She said that they met. Of course, she didn't say where they met at, right? I'm assuming some club or something. Kevin, liked beautiful women. He liked thick women, of course. And like this woman was not, when you basically are a celebrity and people know you, you're gonna have all kinds of women throwing their stuff on you. They're gonna know, they're gonna automatically think that you have money. So what happens is that a lot of us, especially black men, we get caught up into the exotic types females, right? Which is very dangerous because, of course, a lot of times these women with these big booties, you can't trust them. They got Pookie and Ray Ray coming up to your house, smashing your cars and stuff. And they have a lot of males in their DMs. They got a lot of guys who they're dealing with, and some of these people will basically will they come around these attractive women and they meet them, and then she goes off and meets somebody who is a high value male like Kevin or somebody, and now you have this situation where all of a sudden a person has a heart attack. Now, like I said, going back to her being a nurse, right? Going back to her being a nurse, her being a nurse really is suspect. I'm just going to tell you that. Her being a nurse is really suspect, like I said earlier, because she has access to medication. Okay? She has access to medication. So, we don't know. Like I said, Kevin could have went down there and got some Viagra. You know what I'm saying? He looked at that booty and like, oh man, this is, you know what I mean? So we don't know. But I'm suggesting and I'm hoping that the family get an independent autopsy from the state. Not not the state autopsy. Yeah, the state going to do one in anyway, but I believe that it should come from an independent source, so we would know what was in his system at the time. A lot of people were joking. A lot of people were celebrating online that he had passed. That is not really a person dying is not celebration. You shouldn't celebrate a person dying, of course. So this Artesia Alcantara, which like I said, is Hawaiian. She's Asian. This female, of course, like I said, she gave the police vague statements. She said, okay, he spent the night with me, and when he woke up, there was chest pains. Now, when he was complaining about chest pains, right? So you're often like, okay, that's very vague. You know what I'm saying? To put that in a police report, that's very vague. It almost seemed like if you're going to rule this as an accident, you really have to go into the woman's story. Now, like I said, she basically all of her accounts went private all of a sudden. So she basically, I guess, hiding something. You know, I know it's a lot of, people looking at her, of course, but it's something about this woman with the with her being a nurse that bothers me, right? Because nurses know all the steps to revive a person. They know the steps to also put a person in a sedative situation where when you like take a lot of morphine, which is what when they talked about. Because I heard rumors about him having phenol in his system. That's a drug that is going around like morphine right now that is causing deaths on a lot of college campuses as well. So I don't know how true that is. But when we talk there about her being a nurse, we're talking about her knowing that she actually basically asked for a defibrillator, or what have you. That was kind of suspect for her to ask that. Now, even though she was like, okay, he basically, um, you know, um, you know, she called it EMTs, which basically should have a defibrillator, right? So why would she request one prior to the EMTs having something to try to, what I'm saying, to move his heart again to start pumping? I thought that was kind of weird that they would put that into the report that she had asked for a defibrillator. Okay, I'm just basically saying that she said she went to the front desk or something like that. I don't understand what that means. But there was also a situation where somebody mentioned the word injured. Okay. Being mentioning the word injured means that okay, somebody hurt you. You know what I mean? So it's kind of crazy as to for the word injured to be mentioned at the beginning, especially from NBC News or even TMZ, who's reporting that Kevin was injured, right? So when this woman spent the night over his house, I'm trying to figure out what did this woman give him, because as we know, Kevin do drink a lot of Red Bull. He does drink wine and other alcoholic beverages. We saw him do that on his Facebook pages. I mean his YouTube channels. So and as you know, in a lot of these energy drinks, sodium is about 120 milligrams or whatever you want to call it. 120 milligrams in that spikes that you add right there. Mix that with if you're taking Viagra or she gave you some medication. I can see why the heart was palpitating. But let's talk about the cardiac arrest situation. Whether he went down to the store and got like some medication to whatever, let's say Viagra or some off-brand name to help him stimulate his penis to get hard or whatever. We don't want to go into detail about that, but it has to be some type of drug mixed with the alcohol that caused the palpitating of the heart. The heart just doesn't palpitate. I don't care when people talk there about, oh, your lifestyle this and your lifestyle that. No, 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 no. A lot of people age, correctly if they just let the hospital just stop, telling going to the hospital all the time and taking this medication. So I would not be surprised if they learn that he had taken some type of medication or some type of substance that got into his body some way. I don't know if she did a date rape drug. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it. What I'm saying is it's just for the heart for her for the how they describe it as the heart chest palpitating, you had to mix something together, right? You had to have mixed the medication, the sedative, the morphine, the fentanyl, with alcoholic beverage. That's the only way that you overdose in a situation like that, right? So I'm curious that if the medical report or the medical examiner comes out and claim, oh well, we didn't find anything in his system, I would be suspicious of that. And the reason why I'll be suspicious of that is because even though she was the last one with this guy, her the reporting is vague, right? The police report is vague, okay? And there's people who say, oh, this is an accidental death. You know what I'm saying? Kevin was looking, every time we saw him, it didn't look like he had any health issues, right? So people will be suspicious that, something had happened, right? And a lot of times when you're dating these chicks, like I said, you get caught up into their beauty, you get caught up into their thickness, and you invite them over, not knowing that Pookie and Ray Ray might be somewhere. You got to be able to be careful in that type of scenario because you don't know what could happen. You don't know if he got jumped or whatever. We don't know. I wouldn't say that because she said she spent the night with him. But I am questioning the drinks. I know that he drunk with her with something. I know that they drunk that night. Whether that be wine, whether it be alcohol, I know he had a drink with her because that's what he always have done. Is he already had drunk something. So whether she spiked the drink, whether she put some of her medication from work because since she's a nurse, I'm not saying that she did that, but it's something suspicious about her, at least of trying to rob him. You know what I'm saying? And try to probably give him a date rape drug so he can take the money, or think that he had money on her. Like I said, I would not be surprised, and I may be speculating, I may be wrong, okay, but a person's heart having a heart attack. And this man was always, I mean, I know he was drinking energy drinks, but energy drinks, a drink alone wouldn't cause that palpitation from the heart. That's just uncommon. The man was only 57 years old, so I knew that he at least had a good 20 more years. So I'm suspicious about what that woman may have put into one of his drinks. And as you know, when you mix alcohol with any type of sedatives or any type of medication, oh, that's going to cause you to have chest pains and situations. So, like I said, she's a nurse, and as far as being a nurse, yeah, that's the reason why I know a lot of people on social media is is kind of worrying about is this kind of suspicious. Another thing is the women who celebrating his death. I mean, it was kind of crazy how a lot of y'all was just celebrating the man's death. He just spoke his opinion about certain types of things regarding women. If they did not meet up with a man or a high value man, they just did not meet up with the standards. And that was just his opinion, even though in a sense then that you can say, well, he wasn't trying to hurt a woman and her feelings or whatever. He was just saying that you don't qualify. Okay, so some of his videos, like Your Average at Best and all these other videos where he talks about a woman when she goes over 35 years old, that she's damaged goods. Those types of things suggest that as she get what he's saying is as you get older as a woman, basically a man probably won't see you as wife material once you become 35 years old and you're still single, or you've been single with children for a long time. I don't see how that really was a critique. I mean, not a critique, but I don't see how that was really saying anything that put women down. I just think that, he was giving his honest opinion about certain types of women, basically, whether it relates to their attitude, their weight, their size, the dresses, how many children they had. So those were all of the damaged goods. You know what I'm saying? I like the fact every time, when I watch his videos, I like when he does the sound effects when he swap, you know what I'm saying? And he put out there danger zone, you know what I'm saying? And then my favorite one is You Dine Alone. That he played the music of what they play in the army when somebody dies. That was funny. But you're gonna miss Kevin Samuels. I think the appropriate way to remember him is not to criticize the man just because he gave brutal opinions about things. I think the best way to basically say that we can look back on his videos and just learn for certain things and take that with a grain of salt and say, okay, maybe he was harsh. Maybe I disagree with him, but I'm gonna look at some of the advice that he was taking. And black men in our community, we appreciated that. We appreciated that. I know black women didn't because they thought that he was already talking about him. But he reminds you that you had Ricky Lake, you had all of these hosts, female hosts in the '90s, and all they did was just bash men over and over and over and over. And Kevin Samuels brought that to our attention. He brought that to the world. And basically, as he became known by rappers like Future, who he basically had a video that he done with, recently before his passing, and also Nicki Minaj and other celebrities. As he started to grow his popularity, his message started to grow among the black community. And then, as you know, white women and Asian women and other women started to come on to look at him as well. So that's the reason why he was able to basically choose certain types of women from different ethnic group because he basically got famous, and now you got all these other females looking at you, and they're basically know that you're a person that everybody knows. And so that is a whole different situation now. Okay. So yeah, but people were on there being very cruel, celebrating that he's dead, blah 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 blah. No, he just told his opinion about you. And not if it's true or not, it's just his opinion at the end of the day. So we as black men, we didn't really, there was some people, black dudes who were critiquing him. Oh, he's too hard on women and blah blah blah. But those black men was just basically simping. That's all. They was just simping. So yeah, for much commentary, like, share, and subscribe down at the bottom of the page. I'm still on a hiatus. Okay, I am not coming back with Lawyer Henderson TV until the end of May. Like I said, I'm working on my film, Davion Michaela, my book, and there's a lot of things going on here. So yeah, and then I'm supposed to produce another channel, which is entertainment, which bring entertainment news. So we're working on that. We're also working on a spot to have a podcast on to host that channel, right? So a lot of things in works, but I wanted to talk about Kevin Samuels. And like I said, I'm suspect on this woman he was with. I'm really suspect on her. Like I said, her being a nurse, and then again, her Instagram, her Facebook, and all these pages went private, and she marked it as private. She didn't want nobody to know who she is, and the police ain't talking about accident. They're not doing no follow up investigation. Nah, see, I'm kind of leery about that. You know what I mean? But anyway, let me stop jumping to conclusions. We don't have the facts. We're waiting for the autopsy report. And I knew that it was really confirmed when we first heard about it, when this Melanie King, or who always called him the Godfather, when she started breaking down, crying, I was like, "Oh, damn, yeah, this is serious." He actually passed, because for a minute there, it was just rumors. People couldn't confirm. They couldn't get in contact with his family or nobody to confirm. So Melanie kept calling him, and so when she called him, and then at some point she started breaking down and crying and about, I like, oh no, yeah, this is serious. He actually passed. So, but anyway, for more commentary, please leave your comments, chat about the situation. What do you think about this? I'm Lawyer Henderson, and like I said, I see you at the end of June, unless something else breaks, and then I have to come back and talk about it. Bye.